Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Board of Estimate and Apportionment meeting. It is Friday, September 5th, 2025, 1:32 p.m. My name is Chantal Glass, Deputy Chief City Auditor. Present today is Joe Sexton, Chief Financial Manager on behalf of the Budget Department, and our Common Council President, Corey Ellis. All right, for our agenda, we have 9 budget transfers, 1 increase appropriation, and 4 legal settlements. First, for our budget transfer request, we have a request from the Police Department in the amount of $5,000 coming from the Detective Division Community Response Supplies and Materials line to their Detective Division Community Response Other Equipment line. And this is to move funds to the correct GL account to cover planned purchases. Our next request is from the Community Police Review Board in the amount of $25,000 coming from their salaries line to their contracted services line. And this is to cover non-personnel expenses. Next request is from DGS in the amount of $15,000 from their landfill waste disposal post-closure care landfill line to their landfill waste disposal supplies and materials line in the amount of $15,000. I'd also like to acknowledge Nick Riley, who's here, Deputy City Treasurer, on behalf. Where are we? Okay, and our next request is also from DGS in the amount of $20,000 from their fleet maintenance gasoline line to their fleet maintenance contracted services line. This is to move funds to the proper jail account for expenses. Next request also from DGS in the amount of $22,000 from the waste collection and recycling contracted services line to the waste collection and recycling other equipment line, also to move funds to the proper jail account for expenses. Next request from DGS as well, $5,000 from their engineering central maintenance contracted services line to their general services central maintenance contracted services line. Again, to move funds to proper GL accounts for expenses. Next request also from DGS in the amount of $15,000 from their landfill waste disposal post-closure care line to their landfill waste disposal other equipment line. This is to move funds to the correct GL account to cover purchases as well. Next, we have a request from our Human Resources Department in the amount of $1,000 from Admin Services / Personnel Training Fund line to Admin Services / Personnel Office Equipment line. And this is to cover purchases of equipment. Our last transfer request is from Cultural Affairs in the amount of $1,100 coming from their office equipment line to the Tulip Festival line, and this is to cover final invoices for Tulip Fest. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right. To increase appropriations, we have 1 increase appropriation for this meeting. We have we're recognizing $300,000 in revenue and expenses, and this is for the water department. And it's for reimbursement from the County of Albany Water Purification District for their portion of the Beaver Creek Clean Rover Project, ECCRP Phase 2A. Any questions, comments, concerns? Onto our legal settlements. First legal settlement is for Samantha Torrey in the amount of $198.45, and this is for claim of illegal toll. Next, we have Charlie Webb in the amount of $2,000. And this is for claimant that the city failed to notify claimant after recovering the vehicle that was reported stolen, resulted in the eventual destruction. Next settlement is for Charles Duke in the amount of $2,000. Claim of property damage due to pothole. I just like to recognize Common Councilwoman Sonia Pfeiffer, she's not in attendance. Settlement, legal settlement for Charles Duke in the amount of $2,000, claim of property damage due to pothole. This settlement was actually approved back on May 20th in our evening meeting. But since then, the actual settlement was not paid. Since then, they went back to court and they had a rejection. They, had a new judgment. They had a new judgment for $2,000 instead of the 1,315 that we had originally approved. So he's now going to get a settlement of $2,000. And then our last settlement is for Abraham Stocking of $198.45. And this is for claims of property damage, particularly his fence due to the city. That's it for our legal settlements. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right, can I have a motion to approve today's agenda?
So move.
Okay, we have moved by Common Council President Corey Ellis.
Second.
Seconded by our Chief Financial Manager, Joel Stetson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, can I have a meeting, today's meeting?
Approved.
You have a motion moved by Nick Riley, our Deputy City Treasurer.
Second.
Seconded by Joel Stetson, our Chief Financial. And that ends today's meeting. I'll now hand it over to our colleagues in the clerk's office.
Okay, thanks. I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Good afternoon. I will be calling to order the Board of Contract. Today is Friday, September 5th. Present, we have Joe Stetson, Budget Department, Nick Riley, Treasurer, Robert McGee, Corporate Counsel, Charles Williams, City Engineering, and Frank Cioli, Department of General Services. Mr. LeQuee offered the following: resolved that the Secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for the bids for the following: maintenance contract for electrical work for various city-owned buildings. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held on Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. And that each bidder be required to present with the bid a deposit in the amount equal to 5% of the total bid in a bid bond or certified check. Mr. LeQuee offered the following: resolved that the Secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for bids for the following: maintenance contracts for pest control services for various city-owned buildings. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held on Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. And that each bidder be required to present with the bid a deposit in the amount equal to 5% of the total bid in the bid bond or certified check. Mr. Cioli offered the following: resolved that the Secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for bids for the following: light vehicle parts, preventative maintenance, and repair. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, October 7th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. and that the bid deposit is not required for said proposal. Mr. Cioli offered the following: resolved that the Secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for the following bid: shed installation and supply services. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, October 7th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. and that a bid deposit is not required. Mr. Cioli offered the following: resolved that the Secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for bids for the following: building materials and associated projects. Said products. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, October 7th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Bid deposit is not required. Mr. Cioli offered the following: resolved that the Secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for bids for the following: purchase of road salt. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, 1:30 p.m. Bid deposit is not required. we will have the opening of the bids for the maintenance contract for emergency generators for the various buildings. First, bid is from Cummings. The bid, bid size is included. What's that? What is it? Base bid, $25,368.36. Next bid will be Urine Emergency Services LLC. Bond included, bid bond included. Whoa. Total bid. $30,335. That concludes the opening. The following was offered to the Department of Recreation. Resolved that in accordance with the existing contract provisions of the city contract number 9438, the Board of Contract and Supply approves change order number 1 to the following named contract, that the following named contractor updating the contract price. No changes are proposed for the contract term. Project title, Albany South Community Center. Deidre Shear is the contractor. Amount of the increase is $91,600. New contract amount, $1,007,600.00. The reason for the increase, this will create a contingency line allowing change orders to be processed expeditiously. The following was offered to the Department of Recreation, sorry. Resolved that in accordance with the existing contract provisions of city contract number 9440, the Board of Contract and Supply approves change order number 1 to the following named contract with the following named contractor updating the contract price. No changes proposed for the contract term. Albany South Community Center electrical contract and Secret Electric. Amount increase is $51,060. New contract amount will be $564,960. This will create a contingency line allowing change orders to be processed expeditiously. The following was offered to the Department of Recreation. Resolved that in accordance with the existing contract provisions of the city contract number 9441, the Board of Contract and Supplies approves change order number 1 to the following named contract with the following named contractor, updating the contract price. No changes proposed for the contract term. Albany South Center General Construction BMJ Companies. Amount of the increase is $625,000.00. The amount of the new contract amount will be $6,875,000.00. The reason for the increase, this will create a contingency line allowing change orders to be processed expeditiously. The following was offered to the Department of Recreation. Resolved that in accordance with the existing contract provisions of city contract number 9442, the Board of Contract and Supplies approved change order number 1 to the following named contract with the following named contractor updating the contract price. No changes proposed to contract term. Albany Community Center electrical construction, HM plumbing. Amount of the increase is $29,950. The amount of the new contract amount is $329,950. The reason for the increase will create a contingency line allowing change orders to be processed expeditiously. That concludes our agenda for today. May I have a motion to accept?
Is there anyone who can speak to the initial bids for these? Was a contingency line present?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
we should be able to, in theory, follow the paper trail back.
Is it truly a contingency line or is it just the approval?
The approval, it would just be the approval.
The approval, I don't know that this, I don't like the word contingency line either because it makes it seem like, yeah. Because that would be, I mean, my approval is contingent upon knowing what the
Yeah.
contingency is. Because if they had a contingency in there, we would need a reason
Hmm.
as to why it's going over, not just to have additional. Is
I
there
would
no
go first, Martin, because I know this is the one who
He's the one
submitted
taking
the
up-
paperwork.
Yeah.
We wanna table this until the next meeting? Till more information can be.
I mean, that's my 2 cents on it is, you know, if there's anyone who can speak to that now. But to create a contingency, to say that it's for creating a contingency
We
line.
can't call him, he would need to be here,
Yeah.
so I think, right, so is everybody in agreement that we. Need those four,
I would say table it until we have an answer.
Yeah,
Was
because
this,
I have no information on that myself.
the fact that this was on a Friday, and sorry, just stepping into it, is there another one coming up on a Tuesday or?
No, this isn't until.
Because Monday was the holiday,
Yeah,
okay.
but it's less
so-
than 2 weeks away,
yeah.
it ends up being less than 2 weeks away, so.
Yeah, so let's table these until we have.
Exactly. So I don't.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, okay, so
That's
we
allowed.
can approve the agenda. With the exception of the.
There's 4 of them,
The
right?
change
Yeah,
orders.
there's a few actually. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's right, that's 4.
So we can approve the agenda with the exception of the 4 change orders from the Department of Recreation. Okay, so can I have a? motion?
So moved, motion for that, yes.
Second.
Second. And all those in favor?
Aye,
Motion to adjourn.
So moves.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, can you